begin with this controversial plan by the Coalition to revive its idea of drug testing welfare recipients. It's a pretty controversial idea. It's been blocked twice before. Why now?
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, 2 times. I mean, third time the charm. I mean, hopefully not. Look, this is a really strange thing to urine test people on welfare. I mean, because you've got to think Social Security isn't just New Start. It is across the pension, family tax benefit, the NDIS, and we're targeting a particular group of people, very small group of people, and they're making a really big deal of it. And it's a really interesting time when we started talking about raising the rate and how no one can live on $38. And instead of looking at that, the New Start, instead of looking at that, now we're talking about let's go back to the idea of drug testing, which has been squashed twice before.
Why has it been squashed in the past?
Because it's demeaning, because it's unnecessary, and it really is shaming people who are doing their best to try to get their foot in the door. I mean, you've got to remember, New Start is for young people who are just starting out. It's for those single parents who are trying to find a job and balancing the caring responsibilities, people who have been unfortunate enough to lose a job, or somebody who's injured. So these are the people who we want to be helping get their foot in the door, not putting millions and millions of dollars into testing them to see whether they might or may not be using illicit drugs.
In saying that, if people do test positive under this plan, their payments are then quarantined and their obligation to find work is then replaced with some drug counselling sessions that are taxpayer funded.
Right.
So could there be some positive elements to this?
Well, the idea of putting more supports in for people who have addiction issues is fantastic, but penalising them and using Centrelink as a way of doing that is unnecessary. So if we're worried about people who are using drugs and can't manage their lives and are struggling to manage their lives, then it's a great opportunity for us to say, here are extra supports. But penalising them and doing it through Centrelink is making the Centrelink the police, essentially. And we don't want to be making our security, social security system, something that we're using as a penalty or as something where we're trying to be a nanny state where we're enforcing certain behaviours. It's just not how we want to work.
Finally, before we move on to a different topic, is there any evidence this time round to suggest that it would work? Because previously in the past there is no link to suggest that it would.
I think the AMA and welfare groups have come out really strongly against this, saying that there just isn't any research, and there isn't anything that's come out recently since it's been put up. There's no new evidence that's saying it's going to work. I think what's clear is the government's trying to shame people who are on welfare instead of looking at what they need to do to support them. And so hopefully we'll see this one squashed again.